few minutes to start time, so I'm super excited. We have an amazing guest from India today, so you guys are in for a treat. And so, yeah, and Deepak, most of these folks have not heard of Ikigai before. So far, what we've done is we did 2 weeks ago, we wrote their visions for the end of Q4 2020, and some of them wrote their goals for a year out. So 12-week year stuff, right? And then last week, I built upon that. I built upon the vision and started the conversation about belief, action, results, having, clear of your schedule, what are your income producing activities. We started that conversation. So I thought this is the perfect time because a lot of them are either 1 or 2 weeks in to their 12-week year. And you know how that is. Life can happen. You go for your goals and something's going to try to stop you and test you and all of those things. So I think to bring it back to the power of Ikigai is perfect. And make sure, did you have something that you can share with them at the end, or are you just going to share your contact details? Because what I can do...
I will.
Okay. You can put them in the private chat, and I'll share with everyone of exactly what you want. I can email it out to them today as well for those who did not attend.
At the end, I'll share it off, yes.
Awesome. Well, great, guys. Hopefully you're just getting logged on. We have 1 minute. So make sure you are free from distraction. This is going to be a powerful, powerful message today. I remember the first time that Deepak, my good friend and colleague, business partner from India, shared this message with me. I was riveted. I was impacted. And let's just say I do give Deepak and his teachings credit for part of my massive transformation. Hey, good morning, Mark. Mark is here. If you're tuning in, please go ahead and hit hashtag live where you're tuning in from so I can let Deepak know where you are. So Mark is a real estate agent from Phoenix, Arizona. So it's just starting to cool off in Phoenix. Christy Wickstrom, awesome. She's in northern Minnesota. She does a great work with health and wealth, finance coaching and nutrition, and she's also part of my Now Site team as well. Excellent. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to get started. I know we're having some other people joining us here shortly, but it is Monday. It's that time again where we come together to start off our week. And a lot of you have Monday morning sales calls. You get started, doing your preparation and Sunday night. And this is every single week here to guide you and direct you to be able to be supported, to take action and be and become the best version of yourselves with especially the goals that you set over. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Mark is a West Valley expert. Wonderful. It looks like we do have Alice Palom in the house. Alice is joining us. So welcome. Great to have you. So today we're in for a treat, guys. I'm going to just start with a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to turn it over to my amazing friend, Deepak. So a couple of announcements and reminders. Make sure you take copious notes, and I will be emailing this out today. And this one's going to be so powerful, you're going to want to listen to it at least once more, and maybe something that you do as a monthly ritual to just reconnect with your purpose, your passion. And it looks like we have Dolores. Dolores, is that you? Dolores is here from Phoenix, Arizona as well. Another quick reminder for this week, a lot of you already know this, but my course is back on Wednesday, List Build with Lois. If you did it before, you get to audit it for free. This is the last time I'm going to do this course. This low cost of $9, and the last time I'm going to do it in this manner. And I'm bringing out all the good stuff, more free value, more gifts. And anybody who signs up for it and does the homework, I actually have the first person who does the homework and gets the answer to the question that I put inside of it will win $500 worth of free one-on-one coaching with me in November. So go to listbuildwithlois.com. You'll get an email about that free winnings of coaching offer, but one lucky person will have that opportunity. I know you guys are group coaching. One-on-one coaching can just take things to the next level. So without further ado, because I want to give you guys as much time with Deepak as possible. So Deepak and I have known each other for about 18 months, and we met, thankfully, because of BNI. We met because of our connections in the world. We're both very global citizens. And then, of course, we started doing some projects together. We built that mutual trust and respect that we talk about in networking and in this new normal. I'm so grateful because, Deepak actually inspired me to help build out my YouTube channel because he had a really phenomenal YouTube channel. And did you know, this guy just got back from the Maldives. If you don't know where that is, I've been close. I've been to the island of Mauritius. It makes Hawaii look boring, you guys. I gotta tell you, it even makes California look, pretty good. But the Maldives is like this oasis, and he just came back from a 4-day retreat where he was one of the guest speakers. So chairmen and CEOs of major companies, I don't know, probably from all over the world. You can tell the story better than me, Deepak, but I just wanted to edify that because he got a lead from YouTube that paid him very, very well. Oh, by the way, and he got to do a 4-day retreat. He was part of it, so he just filled in the time slots, and he got the opportunity to be in paradise even during COVID, you guys. Let that sink in. So what he's teaching today, I believe, helped him manifest that, because he didn't prospect these companies. He didn't go out and spend money on marketing. He didn't go out and, do whatever that we think we have to do in order to create wealth and abundance and business. No, he has always been about that inner journey within, and you bring that out and the abundance just comes to you and flows. So it's the perfect timing for him, just fresh off this amazing retreat. I saw the videos, beautiful. And so Deepak, I'm going to turn over to you so you can wow us with Ikigai and how that, I believe, is the center of your success.
Thank you so much, Louis, and welcome each of you to this beautiful session on the power of Ikigai. And gratitude to Louis for inviting me on this beautiful platform. So let's begin this journey. Yes, I just got back from Maldives yesterday, and I'm in home quarantine as per the rules of the authorities. So I'm relaxing. So this is where I need to be for the next 10 to 12 days, right in this room. I've also thrown my wife out of the room so that I'm having the room to myself. Okay, so just as a start to this, Ikigai is something which I chanced upon, which I got into it in the last few years, and it's my own personal journey, which then I realized I documented it, and I tried to train people on how to reach it themselves. It's a pretty long one, and I'm coming up with a video course on Udemy and Thinkific of close to 5 hours. But today, in the next 30 minutes, I'll give some sort of jump start and some sort of an interest into what exactly is the meaning of this word to begin with, and what does it really signify. So I'm going to just share my screen, and while we begin this particular journey on
Perfect. I'll let you know. Yep, perfect. We can see it. That's great.
So this is called the magic of Ikigai. A quick brief about my own self, my own personal story. Guess what? That's me, the small boy, not the big one. And I was born as a very shy boy, full of doubt, very silent and confused. And so it was for a large portion of my life, including childhood, including teenage, including youth life. And the elders, my brother, and the smaller boy is me. It's a beautiful city in Pune, India. I went on to do my engineering and my MBA. There's a reason why I'm giving this particular story is because this is the kind of journey that I went through. And I worked in fairly large companies after a shaky start. I worked in companies like Airtel, which is a leading telecom company in India and Africa. In Wipro, which is, I believe you should have heard of it. It's famous across the world. And HP, which is a global Fortune 500 company, and worked for close to, I would say, 16, 17 years. And I was getting a fair bit of money for this. And the world also seemed to need it, what I was doing. But was I loving it? And that's the key question. Was I loving what I was doing? And so in 2015, I hung up my boots. And I began this particular journey of introspection and doing things that I truly love to do. And in the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to give a glimpse of how each of us can run into something which is called as Ikigai. Now, Ikigai is just a word, but what it really means is the reason to jump out of bed each morning. What is it that gets you to jump out of bed each morning? It comes in from the Japanese city of Okinawa, which also has the largest number of centenarians in the world. And I'll be sharing with you a document towards the end on PDF, which Lewis will send to you, on how we can have a long life. There's a secret of longevity, 10 secrets to a long life. It's basically the reason to jump out of bed each morning. And it's pretty simple. It focuses on these 4 circles. Normally people start below. The eyes will go below. What can you be paid for? If you notice, the circle right below is the payment. And then somewhere you go to what the world needs. And so it was, even for me. I tried to focus on the money and the liabilities and how do I make my next dollar. So that was always the focus for me for a large portion of my life. What we forget is that this is a little shallow. We need to start from the top. What do I really love to do? And at whatever age you are, whether you are 17 or 30 or 40 or 50 or even 60, I have mentees across all ages. I always try to motivate them to start on the top. If you want to be long lasting and if you want to live a happy and joyful life for a long time to come, we need to start with what are the things that you love to do. And from there you go to the left, which is what are you good at? So for example, I may love swimming, but I'm not good at it. So it just remains something that I love. I love snorkeling. I just did snorkeling last week at Maldives, but I'm not really good at it. I can't teach snorkeling to any of you all. So it just remains something that I love. I love to see the fishes and all the stuff. Or I love dancing, but I'm not good at dancing. Now you have to choose. So you get a huge funnel, which is things that you love, and from there you come down to what are you good at. It's a process. It's a process. It can take a few days, weeks, months, years, and then you go to the right. What the world needs. What is it in the world that connects to you, which they need or which you can be of value to them? And finally you come below, what you can be paid for. And when you finish this entire circle of things that you love to do, of that list you come to what you're good at, and then you go to what the world really needs, and finally down to what you can be paid for. You come to a central point, which is called as the Ikigai, the reason to jump out of bed each morning. And once you find the Ikigai, there is no retirement. You just keep doing on and moving on in life. There's a couple of depressing slides before I move on to the motivational slides. Is on the stress factor. We all know this, that the kind of people with mental health problems or suicides is far, far larger than it was ever before. It's in fact the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-old, which is crazy. I don't know why a person less than 30 should have these thoughts, but so it is. Statistics have mentioned this. A lot of people get into stress or mental health problem by the age of 14 years, which really was unheard of 100 years ago or 50 years ago. I don't think we would be seeing these kind of statistics. There's a lot of effect of stress on the body, which again it's freely available on the net. These kind of information, the kind of stress it hits all parts of your body, starting from the heart to the mind to the immune system to the stomach and various other parts. The third depressing slide is 80% of the primary visit to doctors. Incidentally, this report is given by the US, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention of the US. 80% of the visit is due to stress-related problems. And that's the last of my, there's just one more, and this is based on a TED talk given by Dan Gilbert on the secret of happiness. He had given this TED talk a few years ago, where he mentioned that although income is rising from 1955 to 2005, it's rising quite drastically. It's almost gone 2.5 times. But the very happy people have kind of remained the same throughout. In fact, he came back later as a correction and said it's actually decreased, which means this graph is, the happy people have actually gone down compared to 1955, although income is rising. So this was something which was documented and scientifically mentioned. A couple of very quick life stories. The first story is of a person called Gillian Lynne. She was born in 1926 in Europe, and the school remarked that she was extremely fidgeting, very excessively active. As a girl of 8 years old, she was thrown out of school, and the mother, single mother whom you see in the picture, was very upset. In 1933, it's not common to be thrown out of school, so she went to various doctors. But of course, today in that time nobody knew about this particular disease called as ADHD. She was lucky. So the doctors suggested some calming drugs, which she refused to give to the child. There was one intelligent doctor who told the child to stay in the room and stepped out with the mother, and then looked back through the window, and he had put on the radio as he stepped out, and soon this child Gillian was dancing. And so he told this mother, in any case your child has been thrown out of school, why don't you put her into a dance school? Now 1930s, it's not common for a girl to be put into a dance school, a girl of respect to be put into a dance school, but anyway she's been thrown out, so the mother had no option and did put her into a dance school. And the rest is history. Gillian Lynne is known as a dramatic ballerina in Royal Ballet. She died a few years ago. She was awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Award by the Royal Academy of Dance. And there's also a theatre named after her in London. Lived for a long age of 86 years old. The second story is of another gentleman called Sachin Tendulkar. And he was born, I think, 40 years ago, and he was very mischievous and a bully as a child. School failure. He used to flunk school and very boisterous, so the dad didn't know what to do. He was getting a lot of complaints. So the dad introduced him to a game called cricket. It's something similar to baseball, to curb the above tendency. Now mark the words, it's to curb the above tendency. He didn't introduce him to cricket for him to learn cricket. He introduced him to curb the particular tendency that he had, and the rest is history. Today he is called as the god of cricket. There's a movie made out of him called the Billion Dreams movie. He's on a postal stamp. And of course he's a billionaire. So that's the second story. The third story is of a person called Sal Khan, also called as Salman Khan. That's the original name. He's a Bangladeshi, born in the US. And he's an alumni of the Massachusetts in computer science. Very intelligent person, and he worked as a very successful financial analyst for many years. And finally in 2004, his parents told him to tutor his cousin Nadia in mathematics. She was in a different state in the US. So he used a particular tool called as Doodle and tried to tutor her, much against his wishes, because he was focused on his job, and this was just something because he was forced to do it. I'm using these words very specifically, that he didn't do it out of a very clear intention to do it. He got a request from other relatives, and he moved his tutorials to YouTube, and finally founded the Khan Academy for training in 2009. Google funded $2 million in 2010, and by 2020 he has 1.8 billion viewers. Needless to say, he left his job and he's a founder of Khan Academy, one of the leading education institutes in the world. So these were some of the stories of people who found the Ikigai by chance. Now, is there a way in which each of us, you and me, can trace our own individual path? So it's great to hear about other stories, but what about our own personal story? Can we trace our own individual path? And for that, I've actually created a particular module on how to do it. I'll run part of it, whatever I can. The first is to have a very relaxed and contemplative mind. And then we move on to something called as the 4 quadrants, followed by the 4 questions. And the first one is extremely important, which is, getting to a state of relaxed being where you're able to contemplate, remove all the clouds in your mind, come to the present moment and try to really get some clarity into what you're really doing. I normally recommend the heartfulness set of practices, which is very good to relax the mind, and I'll send the video across and the link to Lewis, who can then take it ahead with you all. So once we finish off, relaxing the mind, then we move on to something which is called the 4 quadrants. And ideally, you can take a chart paper and you can try to write down in each of the quadrants. The first quadrant is things, people, and events that truly inspire you. What are the things, people, events that really, really inspire me? Now, as you must have guessed, this is not a 1-minute exercise or a Netflix movie which you can fast forward. You really need to go slow and really think, what are the things that really, really inspire you? And then we move on to, you got inspiration. What are the things that fill you with gratitude? So we're still on, a prelude to Ikigai. And then we move on to, what are your strengths? It's not weaknesses. What are your strengths? And I normally recommend you have various ways to find your strengths. You have the Gallup certified strengths coach, Clifton 34, or you have the Hi-Fi test, which is free. And in the Clifton 34, you'll come up with various attributes. Again, this is, you can check it on the net. It's easy and available on various strengths that a person does have. And you could choose the top 5 strengths. And the Hi-Fi test, which is again free of cost on the net, you could just search for Hi-Fi. And if you do a series of questions, you again come up to some of the strengths that you have. Are you an analyst? Are you a believer? Are you a brainstormer? Are you a catalyst or a chameleon? Are you a coach like Lewis? Are you a commander? Maybe like Lewis again. Are you a deliverer like me? Empathizer, focus expert, optimist, and the list there's again around 30-40 items, and you can choose what really connects to you. And once you really do that, you come to the 4th quadrant. So you finish off things that inspire you, things that fill you with gratitude, things that are your strengths, your real core strengths. And the 4th and the most powerful, what is it that really disturbs you? So I want to take a pause here, and I just thought I'll take some, if anybody has, otherwise I'll give you the answers myself. Anybody wants to share, what are the things that really disturb you? You can write in the chat box and Lewis will come in and tell me, and I'll just keep writing it down here.
Awesome. Hey guys, I just wanted to reinforce, this is a great opportunity since Deepak is our guest speaker and we have a good group today. So does anybody have any questions? Comment below in the chat and I will run those by Deepak as well. I haven't seen any yet, but yeah, hold on.
So either a question on the previous 3 or an answer to this particular question. What disturbs me in life?
Well, I'll share maybe a testimonial and how you helped me, and maybe this will give them an idea of, and sometimes this is not always easy to admit, right? Is our fears, our triggers. I've shared with you before, Deepak, my family has really triggered me. So I could say my family and their judgmental, attitudes and things like that has disturbed me. Kevin says, this is a good one. People who don't follow through. So that happens a lot in business and in sales. And I can say that, that used to bother me too. If I called someone and they didn't call me back, I would make up a story about it, right? I'd get pissed off, and that didn't always serve me, right? So anyone else have anything that we can add to the list of what disturbs you? Not living to her fullest potential. Not living to fullest potential. This is a good one. People suffering mentally and emotionally because they don't know how to find help. People who are suffering mentally. You could even also say people who are feeling isolated and lost. That disturbs one person. Another one, not doing the right thing for customers, which is big in sales, right? That's a big thing, doing the right thing. So not doing the right thing. You have room for a couple more if anybody. Oh, here's another one. Let's see here. Hold on a second. I'm seeing a couple things coming at once. Selfishness and greed in leadership. We'll just keep it at that because it talks about companies and countries. And similarly, people that are hungry for power. People that are hungry for power. Okay, I think that's a great list. I think you got a lot to work on there. Thanks, guys. Way to go.
Awesome. So, in fact, there's a reason why I run this and I allow participants to talk, because if you noticed, I put this in 3 buckets. All of you, this is all your points, and I put it in 3 buckets. I'm going to put headings for these buckets. That's very important. Let's try to put the heading. The first one is something called as internal. Not living to my fullest potential, not doing the right thing. And again, there are various others, beyond this. If you think for 5 to 10 minutes, you'll get various things which are internal to me. I mean, each of us. What do we do to these things that disturb me, which is internal to me? To accept and grow. Accept and grow with all this which is internal to me. I'm disturbed because I am not living up to my own expectations. Now, when you look at things like family, attitude of others, people who suffer mentally and feeling isolated, there are 2 categories of this. So let me put the first heading. It comes as external. Okay, but these are people who could be close to you. So you could help, and if it doesn't work, let go. You have to help them, of course, because family is close to you. You have to try to do what you can do at the best. Attitude of others, I'm assuming the person is close to you or in your team or in your circle. People who suffer mentally, I assumed it's people near to you or isolated. So external, but it's also called as a circle of influence, and this is called as the circle of control. And finally, you got it right. The last one is external, certainly, and it is also called as the circle of concern. And these are things which people who don't follow through, selfishness, you don't have any control on them. And they are beyond your circle of influence. The only suggestion is to let go. It's a very simple question, and it's based on the resilience circles. I've created this particular matrix, to help you all get into understanding the resilience circles a little better. Now we'll get it a little more better, and I'm going to, show that in a minute. So this is kind of the laundry list, of various things like internal circle of control, failure of my commitments, or uncertainties of my own future, losing my cool, getting angry, lacking interest, my high expectations, etc., etc. circle of influence, my own team's lack of ethics or family, or various other things. So help if possible or forget. Circle of concern is really outside you. It's all the news you read across about elections or president or whatever it is. It's a waste of time. It's totally. If you can help, please help. If you cannot, you need to let go. And as I said, this is based on this beautiful, very famous circle, 3 circles, the resilience circles. It's the combination of the circle of control, which you saw right at the start, which you need to intensify. There's a circle of influence, which is around you, family, friends, team. There's a circle of concern, which many times wastes our time. A lot of times, the news or the media you may get emotionally attached a lot to circle of concern. So you just need to reduce this somehow. So this is a very good, it's a very simple question. It's almost like a second grader question, it's not a very complicated question, but it really gives you a tool on what you need to start doing, what you need to stop doing, what to continue, and what to change. It's extremely powerful in that sense. So these are the 4 quadrants, of inspiration, strengths, gratitude, and what really disturbs me. And then there are 4 questions, very powerful questions. Why am I here? What can I give? Normally people focus on what can I get? So what can I give? What do I really need to be happy? This is very powerful. It actually took a lot of time. I've spent days on each of these questions. So it's not minutes or not hours. As I said, this is not a Netflix movie. You really need to spend a lot of time. And the last one, it makes sense when you finish off these 3, is what really is stopping me. And the way I did it, I'm going to very transparently share it with you. I did it along with my kids. So you see the first on the left is why am I here? You write down why are you here, and then you go down to what can I really give, and then you go to the right to what do I need to be happy, and finally what is stopping me. I've done this long back with my teenage kids just to motivate them, but you can do this once in a few months. It will make a lot of difference. And this leads us to a practical framework to get to my personal Ikigai. And the questions are very simple. What do I really love doing? What am I good at? What does the world need? And what can I be paid for? And with these 4 questions, I'm kind of rushing slides just to ensure I'm on time. As I mentioned earlier, you need to really focus on things that you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs to be understood well. It's like which of the activities of these exercises can serve and heal the world around you. What is it in the world that really connects to you? And there's a small list I've made of various things that can connect to you. Is it the environment? Is it poverty? Is it income? Is it pollution? Is it life expectancy? Some of the insurance people on the call. Does it really connect to you? Health and wellness. Again, Lewis. Mental health. She has the podcast. Children. A lot of people are connected to children. Multiple areas. Women. Multiple areas. These are general things in the world which connect to you. Village sustainability, gender equality, or joy, spirituality. This is something which connects to me, and social welfare, various other things. And it's a very small list. You can make it huge and huge. So, and then we move on to this final thing. What can be paid for? Where will the world see value in me? Extremely important. Where will the world see value in me, and where can I be served or serve and be recognized? And when you do this, you come to this particular quadrant, which is what can be paid for. And the payment need not be just in terms of money. It's one of the aspects. It can be in terms of what values, in terms of recognition. A lot of times we do activities for fame and power, just like the Maslow needs. Or gratitude, knowledge. So, various ways in which you can get paid for, and each payment is very satisfying. In fact, slowly but surely, I'm coming to a point where I find things like gratitude more satisfying than money. It's strange, but okay, that's where it is at this point of time. And I love to just do things to get gratitude. It seems to be more higher. So you begin with things that you truly love to do, things that you're good at, things that the world needs, and things that you can pay for. And when you reach the central point, it's called as my Ikigai, the reason for being, the reason to jump out of bed every morning. As I said, a lot of times we start with the quadrant below. Ideally, we should start with the quadrant on top. And there are various other facets to it. You could do things that you love and you're good at, but you may not get money, which means it's not enough. You need to search for something which connects to all four. And we see this all the time. Beautiful photographers or painters, amazing people. They love what they do. They're also good at it. But they haven't found that part of the world which needs them. And hence they'll never get paid for it. Or vice versa, you find people, who find things which is just good, which they love and which the world needs. Charity organizations. So it becomes like a mission. They may not be good at it, but they love it and the world needs it, so it gets tolerated. Or you have the other combination of things that you're good at and what you can pay for. Something which I was doing in Hewlett-Packard. I was good at it, and I was also getting money for it. But did I love what I was doing? So that's important to know, that when you don't love what you're doing, you'll never get better and better at it, and you'll never really be able to live a long existence. So this is a short, brief on Ikigai, and I normally run this last slide a twist of caution, because, and this is thanks to the various participants who have come to me, that you may find your Ikigai and you may have different reality. My Ikigai is to do painting. My reality is I'm an insurance agent. Okay, it's a conflict, and it's a very valid conflict, which a lot of participants like you all have come up and told me that, hey Deepak, there's a conflict. Why is there a conflict? Because my reality is based on my liabilities, my fear. I have a lot of fear. I have children to feed. There's a risk. Reaching Ikigai can take months, years. It can take a long time. In fact, I took a few years, to reach up to the bottom point of where I can get handsome returns. Impatience. I need money now, not after 10 years. So if there is a conflict, which is very valid and very practical, I finally decided, that it's so practical. You need to please accept or continue that as your profession or vocation. And please continue your spare time as your passion and hobby. But most important, at one point of time, try to minimize the gap. Try to minimize this gap between Ikigai and reality. And it can take time, it doesn't matter. And there's a final story. Famous person called Harland, 1890 to 1980. Born in 1890, was a fireman in 1906, age of 16. At the age of 20, became a railway labourer. Was selling insurance. Oh, what a coincidence. At age of 26. Ran a ferry boat at the age of 30. Became a lawyer at the age of 42. He worked in a motel at the age of 49 and discovered a secret recipe. But he still didn't do anything about it. He just discovered it. He became a captain and manager in 1942. He still had the recipe, he didn't do anything about it. At the age of 62, he established Kentucky Fried Chicken, and which most of us know is a brand all over the world. So this is a final story I kind of leave with a shortcut question. Would you love to keep doing what you're doing till the age of 95? And if you do love it, then you're somewhere close to it. If not, you still have to search for Ikigai, and it could take time. People do it even at the age of 62, just like Harland Sanders. Short brief about me, because I know I'm running out of time. Okay, so I'm a business coach, I do coaching on personal Ikigai. I run a platform called Healify, which Lewis spoke to you briefly about. A platform called Speakology. I mostly run this in India and Africa, primarily for speaking well, since I'm also an advanced speaker in Toastmasters. Entrepreneurs International is something that me and Lewis run. I run an academy. I'm a keynote speaker at various forums, and I also run sales and leadership workshops. So that's me. I've written a book called The Joyful Quotient, which was a bestseller in Positivity and Self-Help in 2019. And everything happened post I left my job, by the way. So I'm also established trainer in Udemy, and have a platform called Speakology, as well as Entrepreneurs International, with a free WhatsApp group, which all of you are welcome to join. It's bit.ly/ENTR01. So if any of you want to connect, I'll leave this in the chat. This is my number, this is my email, and that's my LinkedIn. Very conscious of time. I respect your time more than mine. I know I was given exact schedule of time. I hope I kept to it, Lewis. And with that, I come to an end of the session.
That was perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I get oftentimes, I've learned from a lot of clients, they always ask for more questions about how-tos, like, do I just make more phone calls? Do I just use this script more? How do I do, right? And what he's talking about today is how do you be, really focusing on your beingness, your purpose, your passion. I love that question. I'm going to post it in my Facebook group. Would you love to keep doing what you're doing till 95? And I don't know if anybody has any questions. We do normally wrap it up right around now, but do you have like a couple more minutes, Deepak, if someone has a question?
Sure. I have it. I have the time, yes.
Okay. Does anybody have one question or even just feedback? I can't emphasize enough the power of his message today. And I will, thank you. I will share his information. If you can join us on WhatsApp, that's where you can find Deepak readily. I can happily share that with you guys. Also inside of the group, and email this recording to you guys today. So if you have the opportunity, please do go back again and watch this. And I would even revisit it once a month, at least once a quarter. And do you have any other advice, Deepak, on how to connect with Ikigai and continue to move it forward? Because obviously, goodness gracious, I know people who are 50 years old that are like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm good at and what I can get paid for, So how often should someone consciously study this?
No, this is what I truly believe in. Each of us on this group, as well as all individuals in the world, there's a purpose why we're here. There's purpose why we've done things in life, and there's something unique in each of us. What's unique in me is different from what's unique in Lewis. I can never match it, and she can never match me. Similarly, each of you all, Kevin or Mark or Christy, etc. Your uniqueness I can never copy, and that uniqueness is something that we try to get through a series of exercises. I just gave a small brief of it, but it's important to try to find your own uniqueness, which is different from everybody else. So just like a USP, always believe in it. Yeah, always believe that there is something unique, because a lot of times we copy people. I noticed when I was doing it for a long portion of my life. For example, let's say Lewis is a great speaker, so now we copy her, or one of you all is a good insurance person, so I copy. Never copy anybody, because you can never be that person. You are what you are. You have to find that uniqueness in you, and once you find it, then people may copy you, unfortunately or fortunately, but you are then going closer to your Ikigai. That's the last message.
Wow. Because that comparison thing is really very, very alive and well in America. At least that has been my experience. So what you just said is so good. And guys, please sit with that this week. Next week, of course, we'll go back to income producing activities and all of the stuff, right? However, I may need to bring Deepak back again at some point in time. Or we also have, oh my gosh, Deepak, we almost forgot. This Thursday morning, if you want more of Deepak, we have a free networking and coaching call at 8 a.m. Pacific, which is 10 a.m. Central. So private message me, shoot me a message on Messenger or WhatsApp, however you communicate with me. Email is fine too. Shoot me a message if you want to be a part of that so you can hear him take Ikigai to the next level. So I just want to say namaste, Deepak, my good friend. I'm so honored and grateful, even though it's like 12 and a half hours away for me in the world. I always feel closer to you every time I get to hear you speak. So thank you again. Again, guys, please take this to heart. If you have any other questions, I also do teach again, I'm not Deepak, right? I'm Lois. And so I do talk about this kind of stuff in my own way, differently, in the list build course. So if you haven't already signed up for that, it's $9, and I'm actually giving away that $500 of free coaching. So you could be net positive on that. So until next week, guys, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, share your love with people openly. You never know when it could be their last day, especially with everything going on in this world. So thank you guys. Have a great day.